this is how I came about. This is how past came about. But that's the nice side of this story. I didn't tell you the hard part. The hard part of the story is the decisions. And this is how we venture into the second part of our lecture tonight. I'm going to veer off a second and I'm going to tell you guys pieces of conversation. Let me know if you identify with them. I cannot do it. The other person saying, of course you can. If you really want to, you can do it. I tried. I can't do it. No, you just don't want to do it. Anybody heard or experienced this kind of conversation before? Let's take another variety of this conversation. If you really loved me, you would or would not do such a thing. But I do love you. Here, let me prove it to you. X, Y, Z. You see all these proofs that I love you. No, you don't love me. Because if you would have loved me, right? We follow? Matter of fact, there is a conversation almost every single one of us had. That's with themselves. You see, I don't really love my job. If I would have loved my job, I would have gone happy to it Monday morning. But I do love my job. I fought over it. I've been there for 5 years. No, I don't love my job. You see, I can't wait for the weekend. Anybody identify with any of these conversations? Can anyone say they never experienced any of this conversation? We all did. It doesn't make sense. Neither side says, who's right? The right or the left? Go ahead. Which one is right? The father telling his son, if you really wanted to, you would have been able to get into college or got this score or that score, whatever it may be. And the son saying, I really wanted to, I studied my best, I couldn't. Says, no, you could have studied more. Which one is right? Father. Right away, father, right? Okay? The father is right. Which means even if the son did everything he could, he's still wrong.
He doesn't want it to be right.
Huh?
He doesn't want it to be right.
No, I'm saying, let's say he did study his best. You do realize that if we have an average IQ and we have people above the average, then we must have people below the average. That's the definition of the word average. Right? What does average mean? Average means we take everybody, we find the middle. So if we have average IQ and we have people above the average, then we have people below. What if he is the son and he did his best? That means he doesn't want to. What if he's got an average IQ, but it's just not, it doesn't click in his head? Some people have an issue with history, for example. They have a hard time studying just facts, boom, boom, boom. Give them math, they can figure it out. Some people, you give them math, they want to kill themselves. Right? Does that mean they don't want to study math? So which one is right? The father or the son? The husband or the wife?
The wife.
The wife. Of course.
The wife is always right.
The wife is always right. Even when she's wrong, she's right. So if this is a conversation you all had, there's a good chance this conversation you're going to have. How are you going to resolve it? Let's hear it.
Give and take.
What do you mean give and take? The boy did not make it into college. What's there to give? Give a patch and take the credit card? What exactly are you going to give and take?
No, between husband and wife.
Between husband and wife. What's there to give and take? If you would have loved me, you would not have stared at the waitress. What's there to give and take? You want me to give you the waitress? What exactly should I give you? I'm going to take something, maybe your left eye, but what am I going to give you? A red eye? A black eye? What? Where's the...
Like 1 year it's with...
1 year I'm going to look at the waitress and 1 year you look at the waiters. Right? With one eye. How are you going to run this?
That's through communication. And you're actually getting to know where that person's coming from. So you're not judging them saying, well, you should have done this. You're like getting to know why they didn't do it.
I can talk to you until the cows come home, and you won't be able to feel what a man feels. Neither will I be able to feel what a woman feels, and how devastating it is that your friend wore the same dress you did to your sister's wedding. Okay? A guy will never get it. If him and I wear the same suit to the wedding, we're the best friends now. We're just friends right off the bat. We don't even know each other, but hey! Oh, you got good taste in clothing. True or false? Are you ever going to get this? Right? We get the idea? Nachon? Who's right? The answer is both and neither. Both are completely right if they want to stay selfish and look at things from their own point of view. They're both wrong if they don't look at things from the opposite point of view. Okay? So now, let me draw it out. Let me ask you a question. How much free choice do we have? How does it pan out? How does it draw out? It's not that complicated. You see, this is, we call it the range of free choice. From here on, this you have to be an angel in order to do. That's angels do this. It's not human. Okay? From here down, you're just an animal. Okay? Only beasts behave this way. A human being will not behave that badly.
It depends
What part of the city you're in? This is your range of free choice. Okay? Now here comes your teacher, your father, your partner, your gym coach, and tells you, hey, I've examined your physique, your age, your muscle intensity, and I can tell you, you are capable of lifting 20 kilos. Yes, you are. And you say, allow me to demonstrate that I'm not. You bring the heaviest weight I can possibly lift. You lift it with everything you've got, put it back down, and it says 12. So you see, I told you I can't. Now the argument starts. Yes, you can. No, I can't. If you really wanted to, I really tried. No, put your back into it. Come feel my muscles. Right? Isn't that the same conversation? You see, they're missing in understanding of the concept of free choice. In potential, that's not pot, that is potential. In potential, you're capable of lifting 20 pounds, 20 kilos, someday when you fulfill your potential. Right now, you're here at 12. I'm not talking about right now. I'm letting you know you could possibly lift 20 kilos. And you say, no, I can't. I can't lift 20 kilos now. Now I cannot lift 20 kilos. Let me ask you a question. If you push yourself to the max, can you lift 13? Yeah, you can do it. 13 is within range. Now, if you lift 13 for the next 2 weeks, what's going to happen to you? What's going to happen to your immediate potential? It's going to raise. 2 weeks from now, are you able to lift 15? Right? A little meat, some steroids, right? We can, we can do 15?
You can do 150.
No, I can do 150. There we go. Okay? Now what? Now you start moving towards your potential. This is what the father is telling the son. If you really wanted to, you could reach this potential. Now start working towards it. Start working towards it. We get the idea? Now, please note that even that moves back and forth slightly. How? How you slept, your mood, your attitude. Okay? Which drugs you did recently. What's still flowing through your bloodstream. It all affects. So even that moves up and down. The idea is to be in growth. By the way, when we get into our next section about relationships, remember this, the growth pattern. Because that's, if you're going to look for one thing in a partner, this is what you look for. Somebody who's in growth.
Somebody who's in growth?
In growth.
In growth.
Who's growing. Not just wants to grow someday, wishes to grow, who is in growth. Who knows the concept, who's putting it to work. He's in motion. That's what we want.
So that's the first thing I must see.
That's the most important thing.
There is someone who's growing.
That's right. The next question is his order of priorities, because he's going to grow in the fields that are highest on his order of priorities. Okay?
But how can you check if someone is growing?
Next section of the lecture. We're still here. Freedom of choice. If you really loved me, I can get there. We're not there yet. You're talking about the full potential, what your parents reached after 30 years or 40 years of marriage, living in a world without Facebook, where people used to dress before they left the house. Okay? As opposed to Tel Aviv. Okay? We can get there. We can get there. And we'll get there, Be'ezrat Hashem. But let's work step by step. The only question you got left is how. We get the idea? And this is what I was looking for. I was looking for the how of marriage. Now you understand, Rabbi Van, what I went to ask him? The how growth of marriage. When I went to examine my wife, to check her out, see, is this marriage material or not? What was I looking for? Is she in a growth pattern or not? Does she have the right order of priorities? Yalla, let's go.
And that's it.
Almost. Yeah, that's pretty much
There
it.
was no attraction. There was no. It's just to see if she's in the same.
There is, but they're so minor in their priorities. They barely play a role. They're there, but they're tiny.
Metziat Chen is tiny.
Betach tiny. Betach tiny. How much Metziat Chen do you need?
Enough to start a relationship.
This much. How much of a fire do you need to start a barbecue?
You need the nitzot. You need the.
Thank you. Zeu. From now on, it's how you handle the barbecue. You can come with a flamethrower and a bucket of gasoline, and 20 minutes later, it's all going to be off. You got to know how to run the mangal. Nachon? Men? Yes? Add it to the list of backgammon. You need to learn mangal as well. Tzedek? How much do you need? Anyway, it's all going to fade away. Exactly like the gas you put on the mangal. 3 minutes later, it's all gone. So you put this much or you put the whole bottle? What difference does it make? Do you know how to keep a fire going? That's the question. You guys get the analogy? Because I'm not going to go into details here. Right? So how much do you need? I want to know the person is growing. If they're growing, I'm good. Then we're going to be able to build this fire together. All of them, all of the fires. You think attraction is the only thing? What about child raising?
What?
Child raising, financial management, duties, values, God in the equation. Where is His place in our order of priorities? We get the idea? All of them have the same thing. We need a base starting point and a will and pattern of growth. We're good. And that's our freedom of choice in everything. A person comes to me and says, look, I pray, whenever I'm about to get tired. And, I go to synagogue whenever I'm looking for a shidduch. And, he's a coincidental Jew. It happens to run into Judaism whenever it happens. And he said, look, it doesn't matter to me if you study 18 hours a day of Gemara. My question is, are you in growth? Look at yourself today. Look at yourself today a year ago. Did you change, or are you a walking dead man? Yeah, that's my definition of people who don't change. A walking dead man. Why? Because dead men don't change. That's the definition of death, the lack of change. If you don't change while you're still alive, Stam, you're wasting the earth's air. Please stop taking up air from other people. Are you in growth? He says, to be honest with you, I'm trying. I said, trying does not mean you're in growth. Trying means you're dreaming at night of winning the lottery. What are you doing? Where is your plan? Did you draw it? Did you draw it out? Did you write out your plan? Do you have a work plan? Did you put it in your calendar? Did you designate a time for it? Are you willing to pay money for growth? Money helps us measure our order of priorities. You want to know a person's order of priorities? Look at their credit card statement. It helps. It's not definite, but it helps. We have two finite measures of our order of priorities. One of them I already gave you, money. The other one is time. You claim you want a relationship? Okay. Show me in your calendar how many hours you spent last week trying to get a relationship. Good. You see, that's how you're measured. How much are you willing to pay to get into a relationship? Pay? Oh, well, we get the idea? That's order of priorities. You ask me how to measure order of priority? Here's two easy ways of measuring order of priorities. Time and money. Where's the person's time going? Where's the person's money going? So far, so good? Yeah? We're getting the game? I don't mind so much where they are. When my wife and I met, we were very different in our spiritual points in life. It didn't matter because I checked that we're both willing to grow. I was already studying Judaism for 3 years when I met her. You know what happened a short time after we got married? Woo! She passed right by me. She looks back at me and goes, ketchup? Okay? Yeah, women tend to do that spiritually. Be very careful.
So you checked that she was in the same path of growth like you, as yours?
Not necessarily the same path, the same order of priorities. We can't be on the same path. Men and women don't do anything on the same path. Nothing. We don't do things career-wise on the same path. Okay? We don't do anything family-wise on the same path.
By path, I mean the same givun.
General value system? Yes. Yes, the general value system must be compared. Must be compared. It's a yes and no thing. If we don't have the same value system, we're going to grow in different directions. But each of us takes their own path to the same place. Our battles are different. Very different. Most women, it's not a battle for them to wake up early in the morning. Most women I know, at least married ones. Okay? It's not a battle. We get the idea? Most men, accepting themselves in the mirror, not a battle. They don't need to fight for it. You can have a big stomach, balding hair, slump in his back, take a look in the mirror, goes, 3 push-ups and I'm a model. Okay, I mean, this is how men look at it. Not major lack of self-confidence in that department. But we want to look at the same goals. And the goals are defined by our order of priorities. It doesn't matter to me so much how my wife worships God if we both do it on the same method, because we worship Him differently. So far, so good? Even our approach to child raising is different. But we got to have the same order of priorities. What comes first? Partners or children? Easy for you to say when you're single. Wait till you have kids. Then we'll talk. She's someone you met, he's your flesh. Not that easy anymore, is it? We follow? I had to remind myself every time before I used to call my wife after lunch at work to thank her for lunch. And yes, man, this is what you need to do. Every single day right after the lunch. Got to call her up, say, thank you, honey. It was delicious. With absolutely no connection to reality, yes? Was delicious, was not delicious. You always just say, it was delicious.
The intention counts.
Huh?
The intention counts.
No, you don't say that either. Okay? You really don't say that. I had to remind myself, ask her how she's doing first. Otherwise, the conversation would start with, how's the baby? And she loves you, and she loves the baby, but if you start a conversation like that, she doesn't love you that much anymore. Okay? But you got to have it straight. I have a couple that says, look, we decided that our highest priority at the beginning of our marriage is our career. Okay? I'm not saying it's right, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying they're idiots. I'm not saying that's what you do when you have no guidance. I'm not saying you're going to spend most of your money on marriage counseling anyway. I'm just saying this is what they decided. But at least they were in agreement going in. We follow the idea? Okay.
Yes, but when are you talking about all this stuff? Excuse me for being practical, but when you start seeing someone, so where exactly, me as a woman, I'm gonna ask, okay, so
what are your order of priority?
What the others, I'm not supposed to do that not to scare him, okay? So where does it come into a conversation? Especially for me as a woman.
Okay.
Because every time I've been told, okay, don't speak about children, don't speak about marriage, because I'm
Wait.
I'm not.
Who instructed you not to speak?
I was instructed not to speak at least for the 2 first dates.
2 first dates, I agree. But again, it's a matter of how you don't speak about it on the first 2 dates. Let's bring it up. Let's see. Okay, we're going to venture into the 3rd section.